Hello my friends and welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be pulling out that sourdough and we are making quick and easy sourdough English muffins. Now, before you sourdough aficionados come at me, yes, this recipe uses yeast. Because it is a quick recipe, I need to make these quick. I do not have time to let them ferment. Couple weeks down the road, we're going to make the long fermenting ones that ferment overnight, but I need to get these done today. So we are using a quick recipe, and that's the beauty. There's so many different ways to do it. There is no right way or wrong way. If you do not want to use yeast and want to use pure sourdough, there are tons of recipes out there. And like I said, in a couple weeks, I will share one of those. But for now, we want them quick, we want them easy, and we want them done in about an hour, hour and a half. So that's how we're making them today, with a little bit of yeast in there. So let's get started making our quick and easy sourdough English muffins. Okay, the first step for our sourdough English muffins is to heat 2/3 cup of milk and 2 tablespoons of butter together in a pot until they are about 115 degrees. You do not have to do this in a pot. You can toss it in a microwave safe bowl or cup and do it right in the microwave also. However you like to heat things is how you can do it. But we want it about 115 degrees. Okay, I wasn't paying attention and it got too hot, but that's okay. We can just let it cool down. You don't want it too hot because when we put the yeast in, you don't want the heat to kill the yeast. So right in here, we're gonna just add a tablespoon of sugar in there. And we're just going to give that a little stir till the sugar melts. And then we're just going to watch it until it comes down to 115 degrees. We're at 120, 130, so just a little bit. It'll need to come down. You know what, we're gonna put it right into our bowl and that will help cool it down even more, getting it out of the hot pot. And we'll give that a check. Yep, it's definitely coming down. We're at 122. So I'm just gonna give that another minute and we'll get started. Okay, we have this at the perfect temperature. So we're gonna add in 1 cup of sourdough starter, nice bubbly active starter. This is not a discard recipe. And then we're going to add in our teaspoon of instant yeast. And my dough whisk is in the dishwasher. Hang on. And we're just going to mix that together just until the sourdough starter is kind of dissolved into the liquid. Then we're going to add in about a cup of flour. We need 2 cups total. And then we're going to add in the last cup. You can get in there with your hands, which is what I'm going to do. Actually, I don't think I'm going to have to. The dough should be slightly sticky, and it is. So now we're just going to turn this out onto a floured counter or any type of work surface that you want. We're going to roll it out or pat it out a 1/2 inch thick, and then we're going to cut it into circles. I use a 3.5 inch cookie cutter. That is the size that my family likes. If your family wants a bigger English muffin, use a 4 inch. They'll be huge. If you want a petite one, then use a 3-inch. I like the 3-inch ones when we're having like this as a side with like dippy eggs, or this as a side with an omelet. But for a breakfast sandwich, 3.5-inch is perfect for my family. So let's get these rolled out. Before we get cutting out, we're going to prepare our sheet where we're going to let them rise. I just have a cookie sheet, and I am going to sprinkle some cornmeal on there. Uh-oh, almost out. I'm gonna have to grind some more corn. And then we're just gonna lay them on there to let them rise. Sorry. Okay, let's check that. You know I got to get out my handy dandy ruler. And we are right at a 1/2 inch. Okay, I decided I'm going to use my 3-inch cookie cutter for this batch. And we are just going to cut those out. And then I will re-roll those scraps and get another 1 or 2 out of them. And I'm just going to lay those right on top of the cornmeal. We're going to cover them just with a cloth, and we're going to let them rise for an hour before we cook them. And these are just cooked right on top of the stove. If it wasn't snowing out, I'd probably take them outside and do them on the Blackstone. That way I could do them all at the same time. But it's snowing and I'm not standing out there, so we're just gonna do them on top of the stove on the cast iron. I'll probably use my cast iron griddle to see how many I can get at once. And in the meantime, I'm actually going to mix up another batch. Because if I'm already making the mess, I'm already taking the time, I might as well do more than one batch for the freezer, because they do freeze beautifully. And if I just have to make them like once a month or so, all the better for me. These are going to puff up. They don't necessarily get bigger around, but they do definitely puff up. So far I have 9, 10, 11. We'll probably get 12 nice ones out of this batch. And then I just have a little piece. I usually just roll that up and make a little tiny one. So there we go. We're going to just cover them and let them sit for an hour. Okay, if it was nice outside, I would probably do these on the Blackstone, but this is how I do them in the winter. I've just got my 3 cast iron skillets. I could bring up the griddle, but this is just as easy, honestly, for me. So I have them preheating over a medium-low heat. I do not put any fat or oil in them at all. The cast iron works just fine without it. And here you can see they are a little bit puffy now, and they will puff up more as they cook. So once these skillets are hot, we're going to add them to the skillets, and we're going to cook them about 8 minutes per side or so. You want to cook them low and slow so the inside cooks. And I generally put a cover on them in the last couple minutes to really keep that heat in and make sure the inside gets cooked. So there we go, 3 pans going. You just have to, you cannot walk away. You cannot walk away, and you have to just keep checking the bottom and make sure they don't burn. Once I heat it up, I have a gas stove. I heat it on about 6, and then I turn it down to about 3 and just let them cook low and slow. These are already cooking just a little too fast for my liking, so I turned it down even more. My rule is to only flip once, but I may have to flip these twice if they start cooking a little bit too fast. I'm just going to keep an eye on them. These are looking fantastic. This pan's a little bit behind, so we haven't flipped those yet. Okay, they are all looking really good. So I want to make sure the inside's done, so I am just going to cover each pan to seal the heat in and just let them go a little bit longer. You can also temp the inside with a thermometer. And once the inside hits 200 degrees, you should be good to go. So we will definitely check them with the thermometer. Okay, our first batch, these are the 3-inch ones. They are done. That one got a little overdone, it'll be fine. That's that little tiny baby one I did. Now, I temp them, they were 200 degrees on the dot. But when you eat an English muffin, you toast it. So if the inside is just a little bit not done, it's going to get done when you toast it. So I don't worry too much about that. I'm not going to lie. Doug is actually a better English muffin cooker than I am because he has a little bit more patience. So I really prefer when he does these, but he is upstairs buried in homework today. So I'm taking over. So my friends, there you have it. Quick, easy sourdough English muffins. Don't know what else to say about that. We enjoy them so much. I fork split them. I do not cut them. I fork split them, and then I freeze them and pull them out, throw them in the toaster, and they are absolutely perfect. So if you have sourdough and you want a quick, easy English muffin without having to do a long ferment, definitely give this recipe a try. Like I said, probably in about a month or so, I will do a long ferment recipe for you because I enjoy that too, but that just takes planning for me. And this I can whip out, in a day. So that is it. Thank you so much for watching. If you know someone who could benefit by this video, please feel free to share it. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you guys in my next video.